Okay. We're not going to wait for the latecomers. So let's just get moving so that we can manage time properly. Okay, I'm going to ask the presenters to first introduce themselves and then also tell us something interesting about themselves that we might not know or we might want to know. I'll start with Musa. Thank you. Actually, it's interesting before presentation so that they don't think about it. Okay, you can start. There.
Hello, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Musab Isah. I work as a research engineer at Afrinic. So a brief about me would be, I have my PhD from Lancaster University, and I spent some time doing research work at University of Cambridge. Prior to that, I worked as a network admin at a government agency in Nigeria. Although I am into computer science, but I'm also interested in art, Hausa art to be particular, which is my mother tongue back in Nigeria. I like the movies, the language. I comment on the poetry and on prose written in that language. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Musa cheated. We also wanted something funny, so let's move on. It's a happy day today. Okay. Estina. You need to press the button there.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lia Estina. I'm actually here with my colleague, Jasper Den Hartog. We will be doing the presentation together. I think it's better if you come here, Jasper.
There is space.
Yes. Come and join us. So we are here to help create awareness about the RAP Atlas. I'm sure many of you knows about the RAP Atlas already. And at the RAP NCC, I run the RAP Atlas Ambassador Program, and I manage the logistic of the RAP Atlas distribution. And yeah, that's more or less it.
Thank you. It's the introductions now, then we'll start.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Diana Biarohanga Juna. Well, I guess all of you know nothing about me, so I'll start with the interesting bit. I love rollerblading. I'm really good at it, only that I don't do the street rollerblading. And I'm a cyber lawyer, currently doing my PhD in cyber law at University of Ottawa. And well, internet law is my passion, and you get to know more about me when I'm going to give my presentation.
Thank you.
There we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Charles Eckel, and very excited to be here. And my first time in Uganda. And let's see, I work at Cisco in what's called our DevNet team, and it's about helping people understand the APIs and integration points of our products and solutions so that they can then integrate with them. Within that, I do a lot with open source software and with internet standards, including in the IETF. And so started the hackathons in IETF. And I'm really excited to be here, not only to give the talk today, but to work with some of my colleagues over the next couple days on the hackathon at AIS. And that's a very exciting thing for me, where we bring software development together with the standards that we're working on. Interesting fact about me, I love being outdoors. Used to run marathons, don't do that anymore because my knee's no good. So now I'm big into cycling and love riding my bike around, and just being outdoors. Anything outdoors is great. And look forward to seeing the outdoors here in Uganda.
Thank you. Do you know any Luganda words yet? Have you learned any words in Luganda or any local language?
No, I didn't. So Swahili, is that the official?
No, Luganda.
Luganda.
There's a word every Luganda say banange. Just try to say banange.
Banange?
Yeah.
All right, my first word.
What does banange mean? Anybody? Sorry? Huh? Means, yes, you can say it as well. It is an exclamation. It's like, hey, banange.
Hi. As mentioned earlier on by my colleague Leah, I'm Jasper Hertog. I'm a software engineer in the R&D department, and I'm a core developer of RIPE Atlas. And a fun fact about me that is probably I'm the only licensed engineer in RIPE NCC. Unfortunately, my expertise is completely different. I'm a licensed architect of buildings officially. So, but right now I'm a software engineer. So I'm here to talk about RIPE Atlas.
Great, great. Thank you. I wanted us to do that because beyond the packets, we wanted to have the personal connection. So I've lost my seat up here, so I'll sit down there. Musab, please start.
So hello again. Banange. Yeah, I've learned that one. I like languages. I've been in Mauritius for about 8 months now, and I've been trying to learn French. I'm originally from Nigeria, and English is official language. But I have been trying to learn French and Creole. I've not been successful so far, but I've been pushing. I've learned few words, especially greetings. Okay, coming back to my talk today. It's going to be on internet measurement in Africa. Where are we at the moment? So that's the title of my talk. I've introduced myself already. Yep. And this will be the content of our 20 minutes or so discussion this afternoon. We will talk about what internet measurement is a bit, the objectives of our survey, and the kind of responses we got in the survey, from the survey rather, the prevalence of measurement in Africa, so whether we do measurement, internet measurement or not, our key findings, where we are at the moment, and finally, some of the steps we could take to move forward. So when we say internet measurement, what it is, what comes to mind? Put it simply, is the use of tools to ascertain the coverage, performance, and usage of the internet. So any tool you use to determine how much coverage your Wi-Fi has, or how much coverage your 3G or 4G network has, that is some sort of measuring the internet. You could also measure performance, whether the speed of my internet is high or low, and how many packet losses on the path towards the destination. And then also usage of the internet, how many computers are connected at a time, how many routers, how many mobile phones are connected to my wireless network, and so on and so forth. Network measurement enables us to monitor and analyze the traffic on the internet. That is a very important point. It also generally enables us to understand the behavior of the internet. So we want to understand the internet, how it works, so that we could improve on it. And I think this is important on all aspects of our endeavors, being it internet or the work that we do on a daily basis. We always want to understand it better so that we could make it better. And this internet measurement is usually conducted using two approaches. So you have a passive approach and you have an active approach. I'll give a brief explanation of what these two approaches are before I go into the survey proper. Now, when we say passive internet measurement, what does it mean? Basically, you try to log internet traffic at some specific vantage points. So you're an ISP or an IXP, or you run a simple enterprise network, and you want to understand what is happening on your network. So you start monitoring traffic, collecting data on a switch or on a router, or even on a personal computer. So that is passive internet measurement. It is the regular measurement of day-to-day internet traffic, but then you collect it so that you understand what is going on in your network. And there are many ways to do this. It could be access logs on your server. So you have a web server and you take logs of incoming traffic to your server. It could also be packet traces. So you have a packet tracer on your router that monitors all the packets that are passing through the router, or all the packets that are passing through your switch. It could also be just activity counter on the router. So you monitor the number of packets, or the number of packets carrying a particular protocol that pass through your router. And you could do this with several tools. As I said, it could be logs on your server. You could use a tool called TCP dump. You could also look at your root views to understand the traffic passing through the network. Now, the issue with passive internet measurement, there are legal and ethical issues involved, because there are so many data protection acts that do not allow you to simply collect users' data, especially if the analysis of that data will be made public. So ISPs and other network operators do collect data of users, but what they tend to do is they use it for analysis internally, and they don't publish it. But if you need data for research and to publish, then passive internet measurement is a bit tricky. As we will see in the course of my discussion, in most of the African countries, we don't actually have, or we don't know if there exist laws that govern the usage of personal traffic or private user traffic. And so in our survey, what is actually of interest to us mostly is active internet measurement, because that is easier to conduct without going into legal tussles with the government. Now, this active internet measurement involves using probes or servers, which are hosted on volunteer networks, to run some measurement. So what you do, you host a probe or a server, and from time to time, you send some packets into the internet to a particular destination. And then you, based on the responses to the packets to the probe that sent the packet out, you try to infer the health of the link that you are on. And there are, and these measurements are usually initiated by the probe that you install on your network, or it could be programmed to run from time to time. There are many of these probes that are used for active internet measurement. We have what we called MLab pods, SkyDA monitors, RIPE Atlas probes. There are also softwares that allow you to do this from your laptop. And you could take all sorts of metrics. You could measure all sorts of metrics with active internet measurement. You could measure the bandwidth, routing behavior, DNS, HTTP, and what have you, many metrics of interest. You could also measure these metrics using your passive internet measurement, as I mentioned earlier, but because it's a bit tricky and many issues involved, it's not usually used for research purposes. Now, coming back to our survey, what are our objectives? Now, the first objective is we want to improve the understanding of performance measurement in Africa. We want to know the status of internet measurement, what is the prevalence of measurement, people really conducting measurement or not, and if they are conducting, what are the to them, what is the purpose that they are running internet measurement. We also want to establish the status of these measurement platforms. So earlier when I was explaining what active measurement is, that you usually conduct this measurement using some props, some devices that are hosted on networks across the globe that send packets from the prop to a server somewhere and then get a response. So do we have these props in Africa? If we have them, how many are they? Or how prevalent are they used? And then also, what are the challenges of using them? We also want to establish a good understanding of the needs of African communities. So most of the props that we have are mostly developed outside this continent. They are developed by companies and businesses outside our domain, and they may not always capture things that could be peculiar to us in Africa. So we wanted to understand what are the needs of African engineers and general internet users when it comes to measurement. Now we got responses from different users across the region. We've actually got 123 responses, and they come from 34 African countries. And they also come from different business categories, as you could see here. So we have responses from ISPs, responses from academic networks, from end user, from ISP, and what have you. And we could see from the chart here that when we see ISP, it also comprised of telecom operators and wireless network providers. The academic networks also consist of academic institution networks and national research and education networks. For others, others comprise of enterprise network, community networks, CCTLDs, and what have you. So these are the composition of our responses, people who responded, or the organization of people who responded. We also have end users who responded. And then we look at the prevalence of measurement in Africa. So we could see from the figure there that not many people actually are running measurement campaigns in our part of the world. People tend to run short-term measurements. They just want to know the throughput or the latency on their network. But when it comes to measurement campaigns that involve the use of tools and perhaps running campaigns for a number of days or a number of weeks to have a broader view of the network, people don't usually do that, which is what we have here of 25%. For simple short-term measurements, we have about 55% of our respondents saying we run simple measurements. And this is the figure by business category we could see for ISP and others. So long-term measurement campaigns are vital for broader understanding of our network. So if you want to understand your network better, you need to run a measurement campaign for a number of days because it will tell you more. Having data of 1 day or 2 days may not be enough for you. So this is one of our key findings. When we ask people what is the purpose of running internet measurement, about 67% say they run measurement for network monitoring, and then others run it for quality of service and research. And then we also ask which tools they use. So as I mentioned, there are different tools for active network measurement. And when we ask the type of tools that are used by our respondents, they gave us several answers. We could see that Rap Atlas is the most popular. People mostly use personal computers, and they install a software on these computers, and they run measurement with it. But then you have actually about, when it comes to using hardware tools, we have about 42%, 34% going for Rap Atlas. I need to rush through. I have some few minutes. Chairman, pass the paper to me. And then when it comes, so that was usage. In the previous slide, this is usage. When it comes to hosting, we could see that Rap Atlas Probe is the most popular in Africa. So we also want to know why do we have apathy towards internet measurement? Why do we not run measurement? And based on, we asked questions about factors hindering internet measurement, and you could see The first here, the prevalent answer is lack of well-trained personnel. Also, when we ask about reasons respondents were not using the measurement platforms, lack of technical know-how. So it tells us that there's a dearth of skills in Africa when it comes to network measurement. What we find out also from the survey is that the use of mobile broadband measurement is not really popular. You could say that more than 60% said they are not using any mobile measurement platform. And this is not good because majority of our access means of access to the internet in Africa is actually through mobile network. This is about privacy laws and awareness. We asked respondents where they know of any, and this is the reason why I said passive measurement is a bit tricky because there are so many laws governing it. And unfortunately, most of our respondents don't even know if there are laws in their countries that govern use of data for internet measurement. Okay, so I have just 2 sections to go. Where are we at the moment? It's this apparent that there is increased interest in internet measurement in Africa for 2 reasons. The first one being there's more research literature that is related to Africa that is coming out, and there are more platforms deployed. Nevertheless, the measurement campaigns are still very low. Even ISPs, as we saw previously, are not actually doing enough measurement campaigns. And this, for this reason, we are behind in generating high fidelity data. And we need this good data to understand the internet operations in Africa. And then we also have very poor handling of deployed platforms. Out of the more than 1,000 probes that were delivered by RIPE between 2014 and 2019 in Africa, only 231 are currently online. We also lack of awareness. Many people don't know that they need to run measurement, or they know, but they don't see it as something very important. And there is dearth of internet measurement skills, as I showed in those 2 graphs. And then there's very little consideration given to mobile broadband, which is not a good thing because most of us in Africa are accessing the internet through mobile broadband. Now, a few recommendations going forward. We need to increase insensitization on the subject. So we need to tell us, like I'm doing now, I need to tell you that it is important that you run internet measurement. And then when we go back to our local chapters of ISOG or NOGS, we should also encourage our colleagues to run measurements. We need to increase the number of skill acquisition workshops. This is obvious. We need to host more probes. And very important, when we host probes, we keep them online. Many people collected probe from me and from RIPE Atlas. The most important thing is connect it and keep it online. And then we need to increase research collaborations between academics in Africa and then also between academics and network engineers, because network engineers have more understanding of the network than academicians. We academicians know the theory, network engineers know what is obtainable in the field. So this is my final slide. I think the last thing that I left is increased focus on mobile internet measurement, which I've mentioned. Now, I have actually written a blog regarding the survey, and it could be accessed from this website. If you just Google internet measurement in Africa, where are we? You will access the slide. And we have also sent our results to AFRICOM as a conference paper, which is coming up in Ghana. Hopefully, the paper get accepted. And finally, you could join our measurement working group mailing list, where we share most of these findings and also other research related to Africa. We also conduct monthly study groups where we connect via Zoom on our monthly conferences, and we discuss issues related to internet and internet generally and net measurement in particular in Africa. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Musab. Thank you, Musab. Any questions for now? If there's a burning question, please raise it, and then the rest will raise them after. Karen, mic's on. Is the mic on, guys?
You have to switch it.
It has no IP address. Sorry? Apparently you don't need a
Hello.
mic.
Okay.
Hi.
Thank you. My name is Abdikarim. I'm a postdoctoral researcher, and I carry out research similar to what you're doing. And first of all, I want to commend you for this wonderful presentation. Well, I actually want to, I have one question and one comment, and I will go with the comment first, especially with the broadband internet measurement. I think we're doing a lot of disservice to us in Africa because most of these measurement results, when you look at them, we have very low figures coming out of Africa, which sometimes I do not agree with. But when you look at the results, when you look at the figures, you see that a lot of times one of the major problems is the fact that we're not taking measurements on mobile broadband. And that's one of the service we're doing to ourselves. And in terms of the question is, what has Afrinic, because I know you work for Afrinic, what is Afrinic doing in order to encourage people to actually take measurements using the mobile broadband? Because a lot of times it's a factor. Sometimes when I write papers and I say 50% of Africans are not connected, in my head, I know it's not true, but that is the reality of what you see. And that's the only way you can get your paper accepted. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments and your question. Regarding the what are we doing to encourage people to conduct mobile measurement? At the moment, we are collaborating with some researchers from Norway that are conducting mobile broadband research. They have a project or a system called NoNet, where they install probes at thousands of base stations across Norway. And I think it's probably the most comprehensive mobile measurement activity in the world, research in the world. We are currently collaborating with them. Actually, we invited one of their staff to our internet measurement workshop, which we conducted on the 15th and the 16th. And he couldn't come in person, but he presented his work remotely. And actually, it's one of the reasons that we conducted this survey to inform our African community that this is what is happening. We need to do better. Our main source of internet in Africa is mobile broadband. We need to conduct tests on mobile broadband. So we're doing awareness campaign, and we are trying to talk to people to encourage them to do this.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll just take one more question, then please write your question down and we'll take collective questions at the end.
Sorry, Daniel, for the record. I'm very much interested in so much of the research that you're doing at Afrinic, but I would like you to give at least an update of whether a specific research into the utilization of IP resources within Africa has been made. And if at all that study has been made, is there any link to the appropriate report on the utilization of IP resources within Africa? Thank you.
So I am actually not in the best position to answer a question regarding utilization of IP resources, because there's a department called Member Services who are responsible for that. But they have their ethics out there. You could always talk to them to get that information. Thank you very much.
Member Services will be making a presentation tomorrow, I think, or the rest of the week, so you'll get that info. Right, please.